This hangout is live on air, supposedly. What's up, everybody? Let me pull my stuff back up here because I'm so all over the place. Oh my God. Okay, here we are. Huh. How's it going? Oh, I had to talk myself into doing this today. I almost begged away and just blew it off. Not because I didn't want to hang out by any means, but just because I am feeling so blah. Put my back out the other day, and I didn't even get out of bed yesterday. I couldn't move. Today I'm sitting here, I got my thing behind me, and I'm not hurting too much. And for the hurting I am having, Corona is our beverage of choice tonight. I've been drinking almost non-existently, and tonight it was like, well, I can have a few beers or I can have some Advil or something like that. And I thought, well, same. So I'm opting for a few beers tonight. So bear with me. If I sound like an asshole, that's probably why. Anyway, let me come over here and see what is up with everybody tonight. Oop, I didn't mean to scroll that window. Let's see. Luke Marshall's here. Hi, Luke Marshall. He's one of my new subscribers. Richard's here. What's up, Richard? You're not going to be able to stay long because you're going to buy a Coolpix L320 for $100. Waiting on the call. It's your first camera like that, so you're taking baby steps on your way to a P900. That is awesome, Richard. I can't compromise the money that it costs for a P900. I would love to have one, honestly. I think they're really cool. And honestly, if it was just my money, I probably would already have one that I don't use. But because I am not the breadwinner of my house and I have, other people to answer to when it comes to money, I haven't bought one. But I am loving all the pictures and video that I get from the people that have them, like Sandra, who is also in my chat tonight. Hello, Sandra. It's always good to see you. Let's see. Oh, Kaz22. Greetings, Kaz22. That's a new name I don't think I've seen around here. Ay, and J Dreamer Z. Hello, little brother. I haven't seen you around in forever. I caught your live hangout the other night for a couple of minutes, and bam, I was out. I was up way past my bedtime and happened to catch you coming on. We got to hook up one of these days, you and me. We got to hook up and talk about some stuff, and it'd be good to do it for an audience. That might be interesting, but I miss you. I feel like we were on the same wavelength, and then you kind of went down your path, and I've kind of gone down my path, and such is growth, but we need to hook up. We need to hook up and have a chat one of these days. I miss you. I miss hanging out with you. Haha, you hope she's drinking. That's funny. Conspiracy Mystic Channel. Oh my gosh, you guys are hilarious. For real. So anyway, I was coming on because TV is just pissing me off lately. It's really, really, really pissing me off. And I've been really looking at the reality that's presented to us through the screen that we look at. And I think we kind of take it for granted that it's telling us true things. And one of the major issues going on in the world currently is these false flag shootings, whether they're hoaxes or whether they actually happen, whether people actually get hurt. We don't even know. We're not there. All we know is that things are being presented to us in such a way that it is meant to program the way that we think. It's propaganda. That's what it is. And a lot of people get all of their information from the television. And it's really scary what our current world is being programmed into by television. And it's like they wanted to try to reach the people that they weren't already quite reaching, and so they created this most latest genre of television programming, which is called reality TV, which they named it as such just to further convince you that what you're seeing is real. This is reality. This is what life is like for other people. This is what the average person thinks about. These super shallow, pointless, useless things are what the average person is thinking about. And you should focus on this. This is what's normal. And it's so far beyond the things that people like me and people in my chat and people who follow my channel and follow the people that I am interested in following on YouTube and such. The things that we talk about, the things that we're interested in, are so far removed from what the television is programming us to think. But when you go out into the world and look at the way people behave, it's really, really obvious that this television programming is really beneficial to the elite, to the system. It really helps reinforce the system, even so far as the commercials. Like it almost seems, well, of course, when you watch these commercials for find out if such and such a medication is right for you. Do you have this issue and that issue? Oh, especially when they're talking about these antidepressants. They're like, are you tired all the time? Are you depressed all the time? Is life just weighing you down and it's hard to get out of bed? And I'm like, hello, you just described 99% of the people that I know. Most people still get out of bed and move forward, but for the most part, the people that I know are awakening to all of this garbage that's going on, this crap that's happening, and it is so depressing. It's so heavy. It's a heavy burden to take on the realization of what is actually happening out there, what is actually going on, that I can't do anything about it. People want me to vote. They think I'm going to make a difference if I vote. That's not going to make a difference. You want me to go protest and hold a sign? That's not going to make a difference. The most difference that I think I can make is turning on my camera and sitting here and talking to you people about the things that really piss me off about what is happening in the world. And I don't even know what kind of difference that makes, except for to potentially make other people that aren't aware of this stuff more aware of this stuff. But in reality, what impact do we have? What difference do we make? They make it seem like we're going to make a difference. Go vote, call your congressman, write letters. What the hell good is that going to do? Not when, we're completely owned by corporations who are using us like farm animals to further themselves. But I am so going off down in the entirely different path than I had set out to. I wanted to talk about TV programming and how TV programs us to think and what TV programs us to expect versus what is our actual real life experience. And I think it's funny that a lot of people will take the experience of an unknown character that they see on TV as proof of something when somebody that they know in actuality is experiencing completely different things. It's almost like showing it to somebody on a screen and teaching it to them that way is somehow proof in itself. Can't tell you how many people tell me that they have proof that the earth is round because they have these pictures. And I'm like, but all the pictures are different. And they're like, but they're still pictures. Like that settles it right there, So I don't know, but I'm going to start with medical dramas. Well, first, I'm going to start with if anybody would like to join the panel and come on here and discuss this or talk about your opinion or what have you, your own perspective, shoot me an email. I think my email's down in the description. I'm not even sure. And my mouse is gone wonky, so I can't even look. conspiracymystic@gmail.com. Send me an email and I'll send you a link and you can come on and hang out. I mean, that's what it's called, right? Hangouts. But my big one is medical dramas on television because I've always been a nerd. There was a time in my life when I wanted to be a doctor, and medical things have always interested me. I used to sit and watch videos of operations. Like it doesn't, ugh. I mean, I'm not into the blood or anything like that, but just the medical field, the field of helping people maintain their health and find health and find balance and such, it was always very interesting to me. And the reality of the medical system in comparison to what we see on television. Like if you ever watched ER back when it was a thing, or Grey's Anatomy, I've been watching Grey's Anatomy since episode 1. I was sitting in a seat for episode 1 and I have watched every episode since episode 1. And I've woken up during this time because I was completely fully asleep when I started watching it. And my awakening has happened and I've continued watching this show. And it's actually been kind of interesting for me to watch the evolution of my thoughts about this show as I'm watching it, because there's things that you notice that I don't think the average person gives any thought to. Like, I noticed that in like every other episode, there's something about infertility. There's something about some woman that can't have kids or some guy that can't have kids and they're doing in vitro. And I know that when you do in vitro that you get shots of hormones. I know this because television told me so. I have no reason to know that except for that, you know, medical dramas have taught me that women get shots of hormones, and that's how, and then they get on a schedule where their doctor tells them when they should have sex. And this is suddenly what is the most natural thing in your whole life. The most natural thing is our procreation. And suddenly it is restricted to this cold clinical thing, and it's so messed up. But it's the programming, because now your lives are becoming more and more toxic. My son walks around with his cell phone in his front pocket, and I bitch at him for it, and he fucking ignores me. And what am I supposed to do? Beat him over the head with it? You know, I mean, you can only say so much, and it's like you're radiating your balls. Most of the guys I know walk around with their phone in their front pocket. You're radiating your balls. Women walk around with their phones in their bra. Who still does that? You're radiating your breasts. You're creating these issues, and it's like this programming on television is helping us resolve these issues. People think that we had cancer a couple hundred years ago. We had cancer a couple hundred years ago. Cancer is an entirely man-made construct, but you can't convince anybody of that. You can't tell them that because they think that cancer is just something that happens, and it just, you know, my father-in-law died of cancer. A lot of people say, show me somebody that died of cancer. You die of chemo, not of cancer. Well, my father-in-law died of cancer. He fell. He went out of his house. He fell on his steps, fell hard, had to go to the chiropractor and everything. Like, he really jarred himself. He was 75. And after that, he, like, within a week after that, he got what seemed like flu symptoms, and he was sick. And it went on for about 2 weeks and it wasn't getting better. It wasn't going away. So he went to a doctor. They told him, you have a virus, and sent him home. So another week or so after not getting better and it not going away, he went back to the doctor and they did further testing and said, oh, yeah, well, it turns out when you fell, you must have ruptured a tumor because you're basically top to bottom cancer and you're going to die. And, you know, it's unusual for them to actually say this, but they told him, there's really no point in us giving you anything because you're so far gone, it'll probably kill you. It won't even give you an extra month with your family. You're going to die. And it's like 2 months later, he was dead. That was it. And I sat in this room with these people who were discussing amongst themselves how everybody has cancer. Cancer is a natural thing that happens in everybody, and it's just whether or not you activate it within yourself is whether or not you actually, die of cancer. And I'm sitting there like, what the hell are you talking about? That is not what cancer is. That's not what cancer is. Oh, but that's kind of what TV makes it sound like. All these medical dramas make it sound like this is a normal thing. This is a normal thing that happens to people. You just get cancer. And, it's a toss of the dice which kind of cancer you get. And, we can cure you. And they show you this. Look, cure. Ooh, you lose all your hair. You feel like shit. You throw up. Your skin burns. Your mouth burns. They actually get burns, chemical burns on their mouths from this chemotherapy. But then they're in remission. And, hooray, everybody gets a pink fucking ribbon and everybody feels good about walking 10 miles and making $10 for what? But the TV said, this is curing cancer. The TV said everybody has cancer. So when everybody around you gets cancer, you can't be surprised. The TV told you that this is normal. And when you can't have a child, it's normal. It's normal to not be able to procreate. Humans have always had trouble procreating. Never mind that the species has perpetuated itself for how fucking long. But, humans have trouble procreating. Walk into any high school, you can't throw a rock without hitting a pregnant girl, which is another thing that TV tells us. TV tells you that girls that get pregnant in high school are sluts. They're sluts who hung out with the wrong crowd. And, this is an issue. You're not supposed to have kids until you're 30 years old. Biology says different. Biology says that a girl is ready to have a baby when she's 11, 12 years old. I was 11. And I said in past videos of my own, I think we were meant to have kids at that age. If you go like Little House on the Prairie style, more television programming, they tell you that's the way it used to be. You grew up in your little house in your little town where there was 100 people, and chances are you fell in love with the boy that lived down the road, and you were married at 15, 16 years old, and your parents, between the two of them, gave you a plot of land between them where you built your life and had your family. And we didn't have the internet. We didn't have people in America connecting with people in Ireland and, having online romances and getting together and get married. Everybody complains that it's hard to find a mate. But I don't think it's that hard to find a mate. I think it's that we are more intelligent than we used to be. I think there's more to know because of technology, because of the advances, because of the civilization that we live in. There's more to know. And along with that, we've become more intelligent and we can reach out. We can reach out all the way across the world and meet people that, Little House on the Prairie style, they didn't meet those people. They met the people in their town and maybe the people in the town next town over. or somebody traveling through. But I mean, you had 10 people to choose from, and you picked the best choice and you guys made a go of it. And that was how it was. And now you have 7 billion people to choose from. That's a lot of sorting. But I'm so going off topic. I don't know how loud. Can you guys hear him out there? He's moving equipment around, and it's kind of loud to me, but it seems to me last time he was doing stuff like that, when I was doing stuff like this, when I listened to it back, I couldn't barely even hear him. But I hope it's not too loud. But anyway, yeah, I've been thinking about the main like types of programs that we have on TV. You've got sports, which everybody knows how sports fans are. I mean, can we just take a moment and acknowledge the fact that fan is just a shortened version of the word fanatic? And when somebody is fanatical, nobody wants to be around somebody that's a fanatic, because you're like, holy shit, back off, you know? They're the ones that like, oh, that's their whole being, you know? And sports is like war without guns. Sports is like, oh, I have seen myself been witness to 2 full-grown ass men come to punching each other over a sports team on television. And you're like, what is your problem? How can you don't know these people. You've never met these people. The people that are on your team weren't even all on your team last year. And they all weren't on your team the year before. You know, they pick and choose and trade. And I mean, but you're so dedicated to the colors of the cloth that they're wearing that they will fight each other and, you know, kill each other. They will literally kill each other, some people, over this shit, over these people, these players that I'm not even convinced are like real legitimate actual people. I know that sounds insane, and I'm not going to go into that any further because that's a different video. But I mean, you're talking people that are making millions of dollars, throw a ball around and make you want to kill someone else over your opinion of how well they caught the ball. It's insane. It is pure mental freaking illness, the lengths that people will go to be fans for sports teams. And it is amazing that it's amazing the division that is inserted into society over sports teams. And then we got all the sports, you know, you got soccer, football, and then rugby and basketball and baseball, although baseball fans seem to be the most chill of them all. They're just kind of happy to watch a guy hit a ball with a stick and run around. They're not so much ready to kill each other over it. But football people freak me out. They do. They're so violent. Like, even when they start to discuss their teams and disagree, as soon as they start to disagree, man, it's like, it's a vibe I'm not comfortable with, because it's a violent vibe. Even if they don't come to blows, they're angry. The anger rises. How dare you say something bad about a bunch of fucking people I don't know that are playing a game? What is your problem? And sports, oh my God, sports bug me so bad. Then we've got, let's see, sitcoms. Sitcoms are all about teaching you, you know, how your marriage is supposed to look, how relationships are supposed to be for you. I mean, sitcoms teach us that the wife is always right. That pisses me off so bad. She's always right. She's always right, and you're always wrong. Because, I mean, I don't know about the rest of humanity. I'm only one woman with one life experience, but I'm sitting over here going, oh my God, I'm wrong more than half the time. It's actually annoying how much he's right. Because I'm not always right, but I'm not this high maintenance psychopath who lives to, make my husband bow down to me. That's not the marriage I have. We're equal. He annoys me, I annoy him. We deal with each other. We got each other's backs. We're a team. We move through the world as a team. We are a team. But that's not how it's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be right. I'm supposed to be right. He's supposed to bow down to me. He's supposed to do all of these super humongous, romantic gestures to prove that he loves me. And of course, he's going to fuck him up because he's a moron. He can't do anything right. He's an idiot. I mean, all men are idiots, right? Men are stupid as the day is long, and women are these high and mighty, super intelligent, super shallow assholes. It's so, oh my God, it bugs the shit out of me. And it's like, if you know any television shows that I'm about to say, I'm sorry. But I know people, the show, The King of Queens, with Kevin James and Rhea. Is it Rhea? No, it's not Rhea. Leah. Oh my gosh, the Scientology girl. I can't think of her name, but I know couples that remind me of that couple, where he's a fat fucking idiot and she's like the screaming bitch. And I mean, look at that show alone. He's always lying to her. He keeps stuff from her. He lies to her. He talks shit about her to his friends. He talks about what a pain in the ass his wife is to his friends. And his friends, sympathize with him, I guess, whatever. She does the same to him. She talks to her hoity-toity smart friends about what a fucking idiot her husband is. And she treats him like he's a child. She treats him like he's a moron. And he is a moron. He acts like a moron. They have nothing in common except for these devious, shallow, ignorant ways in which they behave. And it's like, our kids are sitting and watching this and laughing at this, and they're like, oh, ha, ha, ha. It's funny because it's true. No, it's not true. No marriages are like that. None of them. And if they are, those are the people that are divorced. Those are the people that don't go it long term or have fulfilling relationships. You can't go into a relationship assuming that you're smarter and better than someone else and expect to, get any kind of respect or give any kind of respect. I mean, relationships are about respect. There's no respect in any sitcoms on TV. Everybody loves Raymond. He's a bumbling freaking idiot. And she knows everything. He's always wrong. She's always right. She does everything. He's a lazy piece of shit that does nothing. I never liked that show, but there was one episode that I caught, and it always sticks out in my mind. And it's because she mocks him because he saw the word stomach ache. STOMACHACHE. Stomach ache. And this is funny because he's supposedly a writer. He's supposedly a sports writer. Not that a sports writer would ever write stomach all that much, but he's a writer. Writers are not grammatically challenged people. Writers are grammar Nazis. I'm a grammar Nazi. I've always been a writer. I've only recently been a talker for the last couple of years since I've been on YouTube. And he read the word stomach ache and read it wrong. And she mocks him because he says stomachacha. Because that's kind of like, if you know basic English grammar, it's kind of what it looks like it would be pronounced as. And she mocks him for it. She makes fun of him. Like he's the stupidest person in the world because he doesn't know how to pronounce these words. They look foreign to him. I would never mock my husband, no matter how stupid what he was doing was, because you know what? I do stupid shit all the time. And if I was mocked for it, I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't feel like I could be myself. I would be always on guard. Like I have to put on a show, you know? That's not how real relationships work. You need to be able to sit there with fucking bed hair and yesterday's makeup on your face and sound like a fucking moron and have them love you anyway. That's what relationships are, you know? They don't mock you for it. You don't feel, if you feel self-conscious around anybody, it's not your mate, because they've held your hair while you puked, you know? I mean, this is the kind of things that real relationships are built on, and TV just, they lie. They lie about it. They feed you this version of reality that is so skewed. It bugs the shit out of me. Let's move on to law dramas. Let's talk about the law system for a minute. In every law drama, oh, they're so black and white. Oh, guilty, not guilty. There's no gray area. There's no room for discussion or, you know, consideration of any type. Law dramas, oh, right or wrong, Law and Order. They found the guy. There was solid evidence. There's never a freaking question. Anybody that has ever dealt with the legal system knows it doesn't work anything like it does on TV. They tell you that this system is so solid. It's so solid and it's so in your benefit. And it's, you know, even district attorneys are voted in. This is an elected position. A district attorney is an elected position. Do you know how fucked up that is? And you're not elected if you have, you know, taken, I'm going to dumb it way down. You've gone to trial 20 times. And out of those 20 times, you lost 10 times. You're never going to be a district attorney. That's a poor record. If you want a good record, you have to put criminals in prison. They set up the entire legal system to put innocent people behind bars because it furthers their career. You can't have a career unless you put people in prison. How completely screwed up is that? But man, these law shows on TV, that's normal. If you're on trial, they show you the crime, or they show you the result of the crime, and then they backpedal it and show you how they find the criminal, and they do it in such a way that they're like, hey, look at this. This is how we came to this obvious conclusion. And I know I said it in the last hangout I did, and I'm going to say it again. I literally know somebody who is currently serving a life sentence. I know somebody firsthand, in person. I know this person. They're serving life sentence right now on circumstantial evidence. You would like to think that your fingerprints have to be on something. There's got to be a smoking gun. There's got to be a witness. There's got to be a videotape. There's got to be something that proves that you didn't do it. They don't need it. If they think you did it, you did it. In this system, in America, in this system, you are guilty until you can prove that you're not. And that is a fact. It's a really unfortunate fact. And in one of my recent hangouts, I bitched about my son and his, you know, bullshit illegal search where he was charged with something he shouldn't have been charged with. But TV doesn't tell you that that's how it works. People don't want to believe that that's how the system works. They want to believe that law and order is law and order. And that's what they teach you. These cops care. These detectives, they have to find the truth. They'll dig on their personal time and find your truth for you. And they'll fight for you because justice is important to us. It's not true. Everything we watch is propaganda. Everything we watch is propaganda. It's so messed up. It's so messed up. And even, see, and I think they probably kind of worked off of each other, but you got all of these prison shows now, like Oz and like Orange is the New Black. And I know there's more. I've seen them recently on Netflix, but I'm not watching them because I have no desire to watch lesbians or, you know, whatever. In female prisons, it's all about the lesbians because apparently every woman in a female prison is a super butch dyke. Like super, super butch, because that's what TV tells me. That's what they're all like. Apparently, these manly women are the most violent people in the world, and they commit these violent crimes so they can go, you know, rape other women in female prisons. That's what TV tells you. That's what TV tells you. It's so fucked up. But that's how the system works. TV told me so. And off the tail of that, we have forensics. You got forensic shows. You got CSIs, which could there be more CSI shows? Forensic don't work this way. They go in, they freaking identify a killer because there was one hair. One hair in a completely clean environment. And they're like, oh, we found the killer and he was guilty and now he's behind bars and we got justice for everybody. Doesn't work that way. I was looking at a thing the other day. This guy had cops open fire outside his house, and he had 2 bullets in his wall. And they came in, they did their investigation or whatever, because, you know, if a cop opens fire, there's an investigation. They did their investigation and everything. And after they left and took all their equipment, this guy pulled bullets out of his freaking wall because they didn't even take the bullets out of the wall. They didn't measure the trajectory like they do in these forensic shows where they're setting up these freaking lasers and it's all this like the most hyper nerdy people in the world who are like can't think about anything but this stuff. And you know, they're setting up these crime scenes and reenacting stuff and creating these ballistic dummies that they're shooting bullets into and shit. That shit ain't happening. And if it is, it's only happening in like the largest cities like Cleveland, Los Angeles, Denver. These things are not happening. How do I know? I know people who have been murdered. I do. And I live in a small place. I know people who have been murdered. I've gone to school with 2 people that were murdered. I went to school with one guy who was charged with murdering someone else that I went to school with. He was drunk and hit him on his bike and didn't even realize he hit him and killed him. And he's in jail as far as I know right now. I have no idea. I haven't investigated or anything. But no, my father was murdered. My father was shot and murdered at a party in front of people. Shot and murdered at a party in front of people who watched the man that killed him say, I'm going home and I'm getting a gun and I'm going to come back and kill you. Left the party, came back 30 minutes, stood outside yelling his name, and they're all, don't go out there, man. Don't go out there. And he's like, what's he going to do? Kill me? Are you kidding me? It went out the door and he shot him, killed him right in front of everybody. That's premeditated. It's premeditated murder. 3 years. That's all he served. 3 years. He didn't actually go away for life until, I think, 17 years later, when he beat an 80-year-old woman to death with a baseball bat for her purse. Same guy. I went to school with his daughter. No shit. Like, it's a really small world. It is an absurdly small world. And still, justice is never served. They never get the bad guy. The system isn't on your side, but the television constantly reinforces this idea that you can depend on the system to be there for you. You can depend on the police. You can depend on investigators. Don't try to take care of yourself ever, because you could go to jail for trying to take care of yourself, but the system is there for you. My mouse isn't working. Like, it's literally not working. I can't even go see what chat says. I don't know what to say about that. Along those same vein, you have political dramas. There's lots of political dramas, but they tend to be in with the law. You got the lawyers who turn into the politicians. All politicians were previously lawyers, except for the ones that were actors. Where is that on television? I mean, it's on television. Obviously, all the actors are on television, but you don't see that in TV. They don't show you these actors. Oh, and see, that's another thing that really bugs me. Political dramas, okay? They're showing you what's going on in the White House. There's the president. He's like, oh, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And his, right-hand man is like, well, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then they leave the room and suddenly, the president is entrenched in this moral decision and this ethical decision. And he's dealing with his home life, his wife, and, all of this stuff. And it lays it out like they're real people doing real things. They want you to believe that this is how politics work. I think that's why I actually have people on my Facebook list that still are actually talking about Donald Trump. Who the hell talks about Donald Trump? Donald Trump is like, hello, Pinocchio, do dance. He's nothing. Oh, I think Donald Trump has done a lot for this country since he came into office. Donald Trump hasn't even picked out the brand of toilet paper he wanted since he came into office. Not once. He doesn't even pick what drive-thru he eats out of. He doesn't pick any of that shit. Donald Trump is just a guy that stands there and reads the fucking teleprompter. He's nothing. He's nobody. You know how I know? Because one of our previous presidents, and the name is escaping me right now because Corona does that, but one of our previous presidents told us, presidents are not elected, they are selected. When the president tells you that, he's telling you your vote doesn't count. And if you understand how the Electoral College works, you know your vote doesn't count. It doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It could not be more irrelevant. But Donald Trump is a good president. He's doing right by this country. He's doing everything he said he would do, apparently. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And I honestly, genuinely believe it's because people watch these political dramas. They watch these political dramas that tell them that these are real people that have, real people concerns. Imagine anybody watching this, imagine that you and your spouse, mate, whatever, are suddenly in charge of the whole country. I know what it would be like for me. I would want to know how fast I could bring the soldiers home. Everybody that belongs on this soil should be on this soil. I would identify with every wife out there wanting her husband home, every child that wants their father home or their mother home even, because there's more and more women in military. Oh, and can we talk about the military dramas for just a second? Army wives. It's all there. Everything they want you to think and feel is coming at you on that screen in one form or another. And it's so far removed from what's actually happening. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't give a shit what policies are what. If I'm in office, suddenly I'm president, I'm like, you know what? All our food is poison. Monsanto can get the hell out of my country. Goodbye. Gone. You're illegal. Go away. I will blow you out of this country if I have to. Somebody that actually cared about people, the first thing I would be concerned about is what is happening to their people. What are they eating? What are they drinking? How can I further humanity if all of these people are under my charge, you know? And what do? All they want is foreign policies. They want to go across and talk to other people that you don't know about shit that you don't understand, that makes no difference to you. I mean, it's all a show. It's all bullshit. And in these political dramas, they're like, look, it's a real guy. It's a real man and a real woman, and they're having such a hard relationship issue because they're human, and but they're trying to do what's best for their people, their voting demographic, and they want to remain in power, and they're doing the best that they can. And this is a lie. This is bullshit. Nobody that's in power, nobody wants to be in power over other people. And if they do, they don't deserve that power. It's all part of your program. It's all part of helping you believe that the people that want to be in charge of you are actually human beings who have the same concerns and thoughts and lives that you have. They want you to identify with them, and they can't show you what these people actually do because you would be appalled. Or maybe you wouldn't, because, I mean, how many fucking vacations did Obama go on while he was in office? It actually became a joke that the guy spent more time on vacation than he did in the Oval Office, and nobody actually seemed to give a shit. Now freaking Trump wants some $1 million veterans parade or some shit. I mean, I didn't actually even read what came through my feed because it's so stupid. If it says Trump, I'm like, fake news. And I skip it because it's crap. But I think a lot of the reason that I think the way I do and I see the shit the way I do is because I don't watch the shit on TV. I don't get programmed. I wasn't programmed in that way. I was with the medical system, which is I invited a few people to join me, and I don't know if they want to. My mouse is not working. I'm sorry. But the medical system is absurd. It is completely absurd. You watch these things like House MD. I loved House. I've seen every episode of House. House can solve any problem, and chances are whatever you've got ends in a cardosis of some sort, because that's what it is. And they can solve anything. And I'll tell you what, I spent 10 freaking years feeling sick all the time. All the time. I felt like throwing up all the time. My head hurt all the time. And I kept going to doctors, and they kept telling me I was imagining shit. They do the blood tests, and they do, the x-ray, the EKG, the CAT scan, the whatever. They couldn't figure out shit. They didn't know anything. They walk around bend over backwards with their heads up their asses, and they have no idea what they're talking about unless they've read it in a medical journal or read it in a textbook. They have no real life experience actually dealing with health. They only deal with disease, and they only further disease by prescribing medications that further disease. That's not what we're led to believe. We're led to believe that, doctors are miracle workers. And if you watch these medical dramas, they actually mock people that Google their symptoms. I've seen so many episodes where somebody's like, ha, sounds like somebody's made friends with Google, or sounds like somebody thought they could get a medical degree from Google, or something like that. And it's like, well, that saved my life. I don't know about everybody else in the world, but I had a magnesium deficiency that was so intense, I thought I was going to die. Which, by the way, a magnesium deficiency can actually kill you. But I was having heart palpitations. My heart was pounding out of my chest. My blood pressure was like 170 over 120, which is insane. I'm not in my 50s. I'm not even out of my 30s yet. And at the time that this was happening, I had just lost 50 pounds. because I used to be much, much bigger than I am right now. So, nobody goes on a diet, loses weight, and has their blood pressure go up. I had all these bizarre symptoms. I couldn't sleep. I had massive amounts of insomnia. I would be up for days at a time, sleeping 20 minutes here and there because I couldn't get any decent sleep. Muscle weakness. I sprained 2 ankles in a 2-week period and broke one of them. I sprained them both and broke one. And brittle bones is also another sign of a magnesium deficiency. But when I had blood tests done, I was within normal range. It was at the low end of normal, but that's normal. And I figured it out on my own, laying in bed one night. My heart was pounding so hard that I actually thought, I wonder if he behind me can feel my heart pounding. And I remembered something from years ago, somebody saying something about magnesium and your heart pounding. And I thought, I wonder. And I got out of bed and I had magnesium. I'm a supplement person. So I had some magnesium and I took a double dose from what it said on the container, took a double dose, and I slept that night. I slept better than I had slept in 6-9 months. And I woke up in a good mood. Anxiety. I had so much anxiety. I was having panic attacks. I was so depressed. I was crying all the time. It was absurd. It was insane. I thought I was losing my mind. Like, I used to sit and cry and I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my shit. It was magnesium. I started supplementing and literally 24 hours later, I felt like a different person. And I've been supplementing ever since, and I've been fine ever since. But if I'd have gone to the doctor, they'd have put me on something for a high blood pressure. They'd have put me on sleeping pills so I could sleep. They'd have put me on an antidepressant because I was like inches from suicidal thoughts. Like, it was right there. It was so, and it's so unnerving to have thoughts that aren't yours. And I can't explain that. If you don't understand that, you've never experienced it. And there's nothing I can do to help you understand that if you've never experienced it. But I was experiencing thoughts that were not mine. They weren't my thoughts. They were there and they were harsh and they were dark. They weren't mine. And the magnesium made it go away. Seems most of the world is deficient in magnesium and it mimics so many things. All of these things could have been separately treated as symptoms. And I would be on an entire handful of medication if I hadn't figured it out on my own, if I hadn't gone searching and looking into it for myself. If I'd have depended on a doctor, there's a prescription for everything. They're not interested in health, in balance. They want to cut you open and add parts to you and take parts out of you and, chemically balance you. It's really not health related. Doctors are not interested in health. And they don't even portray it as such on television. Actually, I've watched television shows mock dietitians and stuff. Like, that's practically voodoo. A good diet affecting your health is practically voodoo as far as, mainstream science is concerned. Never mind that when you're a child, they teach you are what you eat, right? Anyway, and the last one I have listed here is reality TV. They really, really struck a gold mine when they discovered reality TV. I think reality TV started with MTV, VH1, with like Big Brother. and these shows where these barely adult people, adult enough to sign the waiver, but not adult enough to not act like jackasses. And, you know, they came from my generation. I'm about to turn 39 in 5, 10, 11 days. On April 5th, I will be 39 years old. And I remember watching people that were just a couple years older than me when I was in my early teens and was exposed to MTV for the first time. It was party houses where they all got together and got drunk and fucked each other. That's all they did. And that was reality TV. And they're like, look, this is what kids this age are doing. And kids that age were watching kids that age do that. And actually discussed what was happening in, you know, these online, well, not online, these TV characters' lives. And it got even worse after that. When my kids were younger, when they first started middle school in 6th grade, so like 12 years old, Kevin used to come home. Well, Kevin came home and asked me, who's Snooki and what's Jersey Shore? And I'm like, oh, dear God, Kevin. And I actually sat down with him one day. We were sitting there flipping through channels or whatever, and I passed what I knew was Jersey Shore, and I stopped and went back, and I'm like, here, watch it. Watch this. This is what all those people at school are talking about. This is what all those people are entertained by. Watch this for a minute. And we watched a drunk Snooki stumble on her 3-foot heels into a room, act like a whore, and go off into another room with a drunk man. And he was like, really? This is it? This is what everybody's talking about? I'm like, this is what the world is entertained by. And that was all I had to do. I didn't have to warn him against it. I just had to show it to him. Look at this. It's disgusting. It's so sad. And these little girls that he went to school with, they're in 6th and 7th grade. And these little girls are emulating this. They want to act like that. It blows my mind. Reality TV it couldn't be less real. I mean, nobody acts like that. And if they do, it's not they make it sound like it's a normal thing. Like this is an average thing that you're going to find anywhere you go. So if you want to act like this, you're being normal, and that's not normal. That's completely screwed up. They're feeding the most base instincts in society and encouraging these young kids to act like completely irresponsible, backwards assholes. Just the men are players. The men, if you're a guy, you can go have sex with anybody you want, as many as you want. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, right? It's only important when a girl does it. When a girl does it, she's a hoe. You don't want a hoe. So you stick with the girls that haven't been all over the place. But if you've been all over the place, that's cool. That doesn't matter. Reality TV, man. Reality TV. And even, I used to watch The Biggest Loser. When that came out 100 years ago, I was so into that show. It was so inspiring to see these people that were struggling and to see them change their lives. I mean, they really changed their lives. They took charge of who they were and the choices they were making, and it was this really inspiring thing. And the second season, there was more disputes between the contestants. It was you this and that, well, you that and another thing, and there was just more drama between the contestants. By season 3, we were creating drama between the contestants and between contestants and coaches. And you could see as this drama was developing, you could tell that it was an outside drama that was being encouraged. The producer was encouraging, or the director, or whoever was in charge of this, was encouraging this argument that would have just been a passing thing, encouraging it to be this open thing. And it got to the point by like season 4 that I couldn't even watch it anymore. All I could see was the drama. Nobody even cared about the fact that they were changing their lives or doing something good for themselves or inspiring other people. It was no longer about that. It was about, which coach said what and which contestant said something else and who went on to whose team from where and who was arguing about what. And you had couples. They created entire seasons where they were couples who were losing weight together, and now you got the couples fighting amongst themselves, like husband and wife fighting between themselves, and you're splitting them off into other teams and just really messing with the psychology of these people, making it seem like everybody looks for this kind of drama. Everybody's looking for this super high, super low thing, when in reality, most people are just looking for the most even keel they can find, and they want to stay there. Like, even is comfortable. Nobody wants to be screaming at somebody and fighting with somebody all the time. And TV, especially reality TV, really seems to promote the idea that for the most part, we fight constantly amongst each other. And like there's something to be gained from that. Oy. That was a really long rant. I wish my mouse would work. I'm so bummed that my mouse won't work. Wonder if I shut it off and turn it back on. Been being kind of wonky all day, but it hasn't just refused to work. I'll pull the batteries. But yeah, I don't know. I caught the King of Queens the other day, came through, and it was on. Nobody was watching, it was just there. And as I went by, I stopped and listened to it for a minute, and I thought, my God, what an awful show to emulate, to actually like base your idea of reality off of, I mean, it's so messed up. It won't work. I'm gonna unplug it from my tower. Give me one sec here. Boopy. It still won't work. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know how I'm going to stop the Hangout. I can't turn it off. My mouse won't work. My mouse gave up. It quit. I think my mouse is a TV fan, and it's mad at me for picking on television. Oh my God. I really should have had more beer than this. I've only had a couple. Not nearly enough to be obnoxious. Seriously, I pulled the batteries completely out. It lights up like it's working, but it won't move. That's so weird. I don't even know what to say about it. Anyway, so I can't scroll. I can't see what anybody said. I can't do anything other than look at what's in front of me. Fake news equals all TV. I think all is a stage, says Stacy's Realm. I think you're right. Well, I think it's more than that. I think the whole world is a stage. I think it's all there for you to be entertained by. I mean, other than the real life people that you actually know in real life, I don't believe they're real. I think they're all characters. I don't think it's an accident that all of our politicians are actors. I mean, okay, they're not all actors, but enough of them are actually legitimate actors before they're politicians that it's like, who would actually vote an actor into a political arena? Like, an actor's job is to convince you that they are somebody that they're not. That's it. That's their job. To convince you that they're somebody that they're not. That they have a personality that they don't, that they feel things that they don't, that they think things that they don't, that they're in situations that they aren't. Like, nothing about them is real. And so we think that, just because they've now gone into politics, that suddenly now they're going to be honest about who they are and what they want. That seems legit, right? So I don't know. I think it's all fake. And I know a lot of people don't agree with me. A lot of people think that Donald Trump is going to save America. And I'm just like, Donald Trump was going to save America, he wouldn't be in the presidential office right now. Of that, I am 100% sure. So, I mean, it still remains just my opinion. My big fat know nothing. I don't vote. I don't vote. I don't watch the elections. I don't watch the debates. I don't watch anything to do. As far as I'm concerned, that's just a political drama that's been put on television to entertain me. And that's all it is entertaining. They're so absurd. They're so absurd and snarky, and just nobody acts like that. And they want you to believe it's the American dream. They tell you that on TV too. Look, this person who came from nothing was able to do all of this stuff just because he's in America. That's a big fat fucking lie. Show me one president that had no money. Just one. They're all rich. They're all part of the same system, and they're all blood related. They're all blood related. It's all a show. It's all fake. I'm curious how Donald Trump fits in, but I'm sure he does. They've all been blood related so far. I find it really hard to believe that the one with the funky hair just happened to slip through the cracks. They missed that one. I mean, so many people voted that he slipped through the cracks and they missed him, right? Boy. So anyway, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm going to try to figure out how to shut this thing down, because I imagine if I hit tab enough times, I'll get down to stop broadcast, maybe. Oh, I bet you I will. Oh, I can't get down to stop broadcast. I don't know how to shut up my broadcast. How completely screwed. This is completely screwed. I don't even know what to say. So, yeah, I'm just sitting here talking about nothing, unable to go anywhere or do anything with a beer I can't open because these are not twisties. That's a real bitch, right? Well, you guys amuse yourself. I'm going to go get a bottle opener, seeing how we can't shut this shit down. I'll be right back. All right, well, I'm going to travel off a topic then, because I can. So I have my, here, I'll show you. Got my turpentine. Turpentine. I haven't started it yet. I didn't even get out of bed yesterday because my back was out so bad. And my husband was like, start taking that shit. And I'm like, the turpentine? He's like, yeah. Like, no. He told me, if you die, I'm going to be pissed. I want to start it. I haven't. I've been in pain. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure detox isn't going to be awesome, so I don't really want to add to it while I'm already in pain. So I'm doing pretty good today. I was going to try to go to the chiropractor tomorrow, but I'm thinking it might not even be necessary. Yes, I know you didn't die. Clarissa, you come on over with a bottle opener. Someone come on over, have a beer with me. It is a big bottle. It's 4 ounces. But you know what? I mean, there's 3 of us here, and I'm planning on doing it periodically as a cleanse. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have it on hand. It was cheaper this way too. I mean, things are cheaper when you buy them in bulk, and I'm a frugal nutbag, so that's how I roll. I'm going to shut this off and see if it'll turn on when I turn it on. Another thing that I'm doing right now, though, is I have some organic castor oil, and I have floaters in this eye. Not this one. This one's fine. It's just this one. And they're pretty annoying. They've gotten bigger over the last few years, and as far as I can tell, it's just like a protein that builds up in the fluid inside your eyeball. I don't know how to prevent it, but while researching the turpentine, I accidentally happened upon something about castor oil, and apparently people are healing their eyesight, near and far-sightedness, and floaters with castor oil. Put a drop or 2 in your eye when you go to bed at night. I've had coconut oil in my eyes because I put it all over my face when I go to bed, and if I rub it across my eyes or whatever, I'll end up with a little in my eye, and you get kind of blurry vision. So they recommend that you do it at night so you don't have to look around. But I've only done it once so far. I did it once, and I've skipped the last 2 days because I've been in pain and been thinking about my back, and I've been on the up and up with the stuff that I've been doing. But I swear, I've noticed a difference after just one night. The floater that I see, it seems to take up like half of my vision, and it's the top half of my vision, and it's this long twirly thing that I see, and it's not as dark as it was, and it doesn't seem to be as big as it was. So I'm hoping to remember to take my castor oil tonight, do my drops. I'm putting it in both eyes because, I mean, if it heals eyesight, I have 20/20 vision, but I mean, if it helps eyesight or helps maintain eyesight, but I'm hesitant to do something to one side and not the other because I'm all weird about balance and shit. So that's what I'm doing. And I don't know, my husband has gone from having good eyesight to wearing reading glasses. And now he's to the point where he's pretty much wearing the reading glasses all the time. I've told him, you can heal that. If anybody's listening and doesn't know how to heal your eyesight is based on how well you can focus. And your focus is based on the strength of the muscles around your eye. So to exercise your eye, you stand in front of a window, like a glass, and pick a spot on the window and focus on it. And when it comes perfectly into focus, go beyond it and focus on something outside the window and pull it into focus, and then pull your eyesight back in and focus on the thing on the glass. once you do this, I mean, I do it pretty regularly. I do it probably every 2-3 days. I do it for 30 seconds to a minute, like maybe 5, 6, 7 times. I go out and in, out and in, and I can feel it. Like you can feel the tension that forms around your eyes. I have perfect vision. Everybody in my whole family has had glasses by the time they were 30. And I'm getting real close. I'm knocking on 40's door and my eyes are perfect. But I exercise them. But not having floaters would be really, really awesome. So with the castor oil, it's what I'm doing now. And you know, if it continues to go away after a couple more doses, you know, I'll be back to tell you about it. Because I was trying to look into natural ways to deal with floaters and I wasn't finding anything. And I only came across the castor oil while looking up the turpentine. Like, I don't even know what the two have to do with each other, but that was how I found it. So I'll take it. Synchronicity for 100, Alex, please. Right? Sandra, do it. Yes, I'd rather be blind in both eyes. You know what, though? I'm all about testimonials. I will take, I don't know, the medical establishment's word for it to some degree, but like this stuff says don't take internally, and if you even splash it into your mouth, you're supposed to call poison control. They say the same thing about borax. They say the same thing about diatomaceous earth. And I know for a fact that the other two things are safe and beneficial. I mean, they're 100% beneficial. So, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of definite thumbs up to castor oil and floaters and correcting eyesight if you look into it. But exercising the eyes, as far as I know, I mean, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe I was never meant to have glasses and I have perfect genes and perfect eyesight and I'm the only one in my family. And it's just a fluke that I've been exercising my eyes all this time. I don't know. I have no proof. It's all anecdotal. So, I mean, but does it hurt to exercise your eyes a little bit and see if it helps? I mean, I had a friend years ago who was exercising her eyes like that and went to the doctor and he lowered her prescription and was like, what the hell are you doing? I have never, in all of my time as a doctor, I've never lessened somebody's eye prescription. What are you doing? Because it's working. And she was exercising her eyes like that. And I don't even know where I got it from. It's not something I came up with. I heard it somewhere or saw it or read it or something in passing and it made sense to me. It's a muscle like any other. It made sense to me. And I've been doing it ever since and my eyesight is perfect. I can see things from like really far away and people are like, how can you read that? And I'm like, I don't know, it's just there. I can see it. Or real close, it doesn't matter. I can adjust. I have perfect eyesight. I love that about me. My ears, however, anybody know anything about improving hearing? As far as I know, your hearing, your ears have what are essentially little hairs in them that interpret the vibration that you hear and interprets it into sound that you identify. And as your hearing loss happens, the hairs get smaller. And so there's less interpretation happening. And you begin to lose your sense of hearing. I don't know if this is true. This is what the medical establishment says is the cause of hearing loss. And my hearing sucks. I can't hear lower sounds. My husband and my sons tend to mumble. they have deep voices and they tend to mumble. And if they're looking away from me and I can't see their mouth moving, I won't hear them. I swear to God, I say, what? Like 1,000 times a day. And what is so annoying is when you're like, what? And somebody goes on for 5 minutes and explains what they said. And it's like, no, I didn't fucking hear you. Just repeat the words that you said. What did you say? There's got to be a way to heal your hearing. It seems that there's a way to heal everything else in the human body. I've never heard anything about healing hearing. Anybody know anything? Oh, I know it says the same on toothpaste, do not swallow. Well, don't swallow your toothpaste. Ugh. You don't need any more fluoride in you than necessary. Dear God. I mean, I'm sure it won't kill you, but ugh, don't do that. Well, Chris Hayes is doing it with his finger in front of his face right now. I'm like, the hell is he doing? I'm assuming he's doing this. Focus on the finger and then the background. Got a headache now. Well, don't do it until you have a headache. But no, see, and that's the thing. It does start to hurt your head, and it's because it's muscles that you're not used to working. You do it a little at a time. I used to do it every day. I would stand in front of a window, or I'm good for doing it in my car. Like I'll pull up to a stoplight and I'll focus on the windshield and then the light and then the windshield and then the light. And I'll only do it like 2 or 3 times and then go on with my day. I don't like do it over and over and over. It will give you a headache. It builds tension in your head, but it's a tension that's really good for you. I actually wonder, because it works on muscles inside of your eye socket. And I wonder how much it affects the muscle tone and tissue around the outside of your eyes. I've actually been looking at people that wear glasses and trying to decide if, like, younger people, maybe in their late 20s, who have glasses and who don't, and trying to decipher if maybe there are more crow's feet or wrinkles in the people that have the glasses, just because there's less muscle tone there. I mean, that, I know that sounds insane, but that makes sense to me. I mean, it's all about muscle tone and tissue toning, you know? I don't know. Good. Don't swallow your fluoride-free toothpaste either. And you have the same problem with hearing. I don't know what it is. I kind of wonder, well, it can't be a natural thing, because I don't think that we naturally lose our hearing, but I've never been one to drive around listening to loud music or all the things that people are like, that's going to make you go deaf. I didn't do those things. I don't know. So I wonder, I mean, generally speaking, if you shave your hair, it grows back. And even people who lose their hair due to hormonal issues or whatever, there's usually some kind of supplement you can take or something you can put on your skin or whatever that makes the hair grow back. And so if you're actually dealing with interpretation due to things that are like hair in your ear, and damage to those creates a hearing loss, it seems reasonable that there would be a way to grow those back and reinstate your hearing. I've just never heard of anything about it. I haven't really thought about it a lot until just now, when I was just trying to fill time because my mouse is a piece of shit. And I think I'm going to have to shut my whole computer down to shut this down when I finally get there. Oh. Stacy's Realm got hearing aids 5 years ago. She's 50 and it changed her life. right? I mean, if you could improve it naturally and get rid of hearing aids. My goal is to not age. I mean, isn't that everybody's goal? But it's not that I don't want to age or that I'm afraid to age. It's that more like coconut oil in their lives and stuff. There are people that live to 130. And they're not only 130 years old, but they're 130 and they're out weeding their own garden. Like, these are active, normal functioning members of society. They're completely in their right mind. They're completely physically capable. And we're led to believe that we are just going to basically crumble and fall apart at like, what, 70? And I don't think that that's normal. I don't think that that's right. So it's not that I don't want to age and I'm fighting a natural process. It's that I am fighting an unnatural process. I don't think that it's normal for us to age the way we have. I mean, even using myself as an experience, I do not have a completely unaged face. I get these when I put my fucking eyebrows up. I got some wrinkles here that pop out when I'm not squinting anymore. But when I put my face next to people that are my age, they seem to have a more age that shows on their face. And I think that that's because I don't put sunscreen on my face. I don't put makeup on my face. I don't wear makeup that clogs up my pores. I don't even use mainstream lotions. I don't use mainstream moisturizers. I don't have any of that poisonous stuff that I put on my face. And I think that it's these poisons and stuff that is really aging us to a degree that's probably actually helping the outside keep up with the inside. Because, I mean, we're being rotted from the inside out by this fake food that we're presented with and told to eat on a regular basis. You only have 20 years left. Great. 20 years and you're done. Like, that's not normal. That's not. And you know what? My grandma, my mother is 50. She'll be 55 this year. Her mother, my grandmother, is 73. In the last year, she's completely lost her mind. She still has lucid moments, but she used to have unlucid moments, and now all she has is lucid moments. So, and she's only 73. Her mother died at 82, cancer / radiation. Her mother, well, it wasn't her mother, it was her stepmother, was 98. And her mother was 105. Another thing television tells us. It tells us that as time goes on, the average age that we live to gets younger and younger and younger, or older and older and older, and it's not. It's backwards. We're getting younger. We're dying younger. We're losing our minds younger. Because it's not normal to be mentally incapacitated at 70 years old. That's not normal. My great grandma, she was 82 when she died from whatever she died from. And it was about 6-8 months after her diagnosis and their treatment. And she was in her right mind until they radiated her. She was always in her right mind. She was a very intelligent, kind, soft-spoken person. And once they radiated her, she was gone. No more of her thoughts were her own. They were just, she said things that were completely out of character. Really, we're talking about the most Bible thumpingest Christian you ever met in your life. And she was like saying things that were way out of character for her, that they radiated her brain. But she was normal until then. And her mother, her stepmother, was normal up until just a couple years before she died. And she was 98 years old. It is not normal for us to be headed downhill at just 70 years old. It's not normal. But more and more it's portrayed to us as being normal. It's like, you can't go more than a day or two. I challenge you to go more than a day or two. If you are on any kind of normal social media for any kind of time during the day ever, or if you watch any kind of television at all, any kind, even if you only watch the news or you only watch 2 shows and that's all you watch, anything on TV or social media at all, I challenge you to go 2 days without hearing about somebody dying of cancer who is ridiculously young, like less than 30. You won't be able to go 2 days without hearing about some child, some infant, or some 2-year-old, or some 20-year-old kid, or some 18-year-old that was just hoping to graduate high school before his brain cancer killed him. Like, this is just normal now. This is just accepted. Like, it's the only way that they could accomplish that is to convince you, to show it to you until you believe that it was real. Baking soda is supposed to help with Alzheimer's. I have heard interesting things about baking soda lately. I read something recently. Somebody was saying that they get rid of their migraines by taking a teaspoon of baking soda when they feel it coming on. I can't imagine why that would help. And I don't get migraines, so I can't test it out, but helping with Alzheimer's. You know what? I'm hoping that this turpentine, I meant to look it up today. I wanted to look it up and see if I could find anything about turpentine in connection with Alzheimer's. Because I'll do it without telling anybody. I'll dose her without her knowing it. And, you know, under any other circumstances, I would say that that was absolutely ethically wrong. Make of it what you will. she's gonna die. She's gonna completely lose her freaking mind, and she's gonna die. And everybody thinks I'm crazy. The shit I come up with is crazy. So basically, doing it secretly and seeing if it makes a difference is probably the only thing that I could possibly do. Not that I'm rushing out to do that. You know, nobody call the fucking health department or the police on me, because I'm not saying I'm rushing out to do it. I'm just saying I'm going to see what it does to me. I don't know. I'll talk to my mom about it and see if she'll even consider it. And like I said last week, I've been looking into hydrogen peroxide therapy. And I wonder if that wouldn't help with Alzheimer's to some degree. I mean, oxygenating the brain. That seems like a perfectly logical thing that could help, you know? I don't know. Oh, I almost wore that. Thank you, Chris. Chris says, I hear about some twat wanting to be sponsored for some shit, like someone dying of something every day at my work. It's true. They're like, walk for this, run for that, save for this, donate to that. And it's like, why doesn't anybody want to talk about what's causing these issues? Why doesn't anybody want to talk about what could stop these issues from even becoming a problem, becoming a factor in your life at all. Nobody wants to talk about that. All people want to talk about is the cure. They want to be, the knight in shining armor. I came with the cure. We cured that. Don't cure it, prevent it. All of this stuff is preventable. It infuriates me that my grandmother has gone down the Alzheimer's rabbit hole as bad as she has. It's like, not me. She keeps telling me, "Oh, you wait till you get old." And I'm like, "No." And I don't want to say that to her because it seems disrespectful to be like, "No, I'll never be as fucked as you are." But it's how I feel. Like, no, 20 years ago, when you first started to not remember things and you noticed it was weird, you should have started asking questions instead of assuming that this was just a normal rite of passage. This is just a normal part of growing old. And that's what she keeps trying to tell me. This is just a normal part of getting old. You lose your fucking mind, you can't remember shit, and eventually you can't wipe your own ass. And that is just the way that it was meant to be. I reject that notion. I reject that notion. I mean, I reject it. There's got to be ways to deal with it. And, the best way to deal with it has got to be starting before you're there. I'm not quite 40. And, when I wasn't quite 30, when I was 28, 29 years old, I started doing things differently and I started seeing things differently because I recognized this process. This is happening. And I don't know, I guess I just see it different than a lot of other people do. And so my life changed as I turned 30. And I've done things differently for the last 9 years. And I'm about to turn 39. And now I'm looking at myself turning 40. And I'm thinking about this way that I've been programmed to view my aging. And the things that I've been programmed to expect. And I am absolutely in the business of rejecting everything that has to do with that. You will not tell me to lose my mind and become an irrational, useless waste of space. Because that's what they want you to believe that old people are. They even give you a place where you can drop your old folks off and forget that they exist, and we'll take care of them for you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be responsible for them or visit with them or spend any time with them. You just drop them here and forget about them. It's like a fucking shelter for senior citizens. It's not great. Too bad we can't control our chemtrail air. That's the truth. Only recently, like all information, says not to use sunscreen. It absorbs and will chemically harm, not treat and protect. I believe that is absolutely true. I didn't put sunscreen on my kids. Put coconut oil on them, which made people cringe. If you take coconut oil, raw, organic coconut oil, and put it on your skin and go in the sun, you don't get a sunburn. My 18-year-old, when he was 16, he went out with his buddy and his family. They went to a water park, and before they all went in the water park, his whole friend's family was all slathering themselves up with this sun lotion and stuff. And there stood my kid. I sent him with a little bottle of coconut oil, and he's rubbing oil all over himself. And the mom was like, "What are you doing?" He's putting coconut oil on, and she's like, "You're going to burn." And he's like, "No, this is what my mom told me to do." And she clarified, "Your mother told you to do that." And he said, "Yep." And she was like, "Okay, let it go. Your mom said, I'll let it go." They all took a break for lunch, came out, had their food. Her whole family slathered themselves in suntan lotion again, and he slathered himself in his coconut oil again, and they all went back in the water park. And when they left that night, my son was the only person that was not burnt to a bright red crisp. He was tan, nice, dark, even tan. And he is fair skinned with blonde hair. They couldn't believe it. They thought he was insane. He's rubbing oil on himself. And it's 90 degrees out. 90 degrees, we're all wet and we're in direct sun. He didn't get any sunburn, and they all burnt. And what you don't realize is you're putting this chemical on your skin that is absorbing into your skin, and it disrupts your hormones. And then you're burning it into your skin. So you're taking all of these chemicals and shit that's left on top of your skin and actually cooking it into yourself, because it doesn't prevent sunburn. Nobody uses sunscreen and doesn't get a sunburn. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do shit except for poison you. Another good sunscreen is vitamin C. If you take like a vitamin C tablet and crush it like between 2 spoons, pulverize it into a powder and add it to water, dissolve it, and use a spray bottle and spray it on your skin and let it dry, you won't get a sunburn. That same water park a couple years earlier, we tried that. I took a couple of 100 or 1,000 milligram vitamin C tablets and crushed them up in about 2 cups of water, dissolved it, and sprayed down everybody's shoulder and chest area. Nobody burnt. All day in 95 degrees of direct sunlight. Nobody burnt. There are natural ways. I'm convinced there's natural ways to do everything. I mean, our ancestors have been dealing with the sun and the weather for hundreds of years. And they're not all dying of cancer. They didn't all die of cancer. They weren't all just ill. They were actually really healthy, and they were using nature to their benefit. I mean, nature was put there for us, and every mainstream product wants to take us away from nature. They pull us right out of nature, and they give us chemicals that are created in beakers, and they tell us to rub it all over our skin. It's good for you. It'll keep you from getting cancer, when in fact it's actually what's causing your cancer in the first place. It's not awesome. Oh my goodness, they're into statin drugs in my chat. Statin drugs are the devil. Don't take statin drugs. There's a million ways you can lower your blood pressure without taking a medication. Take some magnesium oil. Take a walk after your dinner. Eat a little less red meat. But the real devil is sugar. Sugar is tearing up your arteries. A lot of people think that meat and eating cholesterol causes high cholesterol and causes blood sugar problems, but it's really not. I went on a low carb diet in 2013, and I know I'm going to absolutely horrify every vegan and vegetarian, but low carb is mostly meat and veg. That's it. There's no fruit, there's no bread, there's no potatoes. It's like leafy greens and like green beans and peas and real vegetables and meat, and that's it. And I have watched more than just a couple people, because spend a few years, I'm talking 5 years, I ate this way in these groups on Facebook, and you're watching these people come in and they weigh 400 pounds easy, and they find a diet that they can deal with, which is low carb. You get rid of the sugar, but you get to eat a steak and you get to put butter on it. A butter covered steak is like the best piece of meat you're ever going to eat. So, and these people, they come in and they weigh 400 plus pounds, and they are on all these medications, these high blood pressure meds and heart meds and digestive meds like Nexium for their acid reflux and all of this crap. And you can watch them over 30 days go off their medication. completely, like done. And they do this stuff on doctors' orders because they're afraid. You're taking this person and they've been told eating red meat is going to give you high cholesterol and it's going to kill you. And now they have high cholesterol, they have high blood pressure, and now someone else is telling them if you eat this red meat and it's all you eat, all your numbers come down. And so they go to the doctor, they get their stuff checked out, and then they do it for 30 days. Just 30 days, I'm going to do it, and then I'll go back to the doctor and make sure that it's not going to kill me. And they go back after 30 days, and all their numbers are down. All of them. Their cholesterol's down, their blood pressure's down, and the doctor is starting to lower their medications and telling them, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because your numbers are coming down. It's the sugar. It's removing the sugar from the diet. It's getting rid of the artificial sugars that trick you into eating more than you even want. And all of the sugar that we eat so much sugar. Because people think of sugar as the white shit in the bag that you put in your coffee or whatever. And, well, I don't use that much sugar. How much fruit do you eat? I mean, I know fruit is natural, and people don't like to count natural things. But if you consider it, if you really think about it, unless you live in a tropical climate, your body isn't meant to eat sugar more than 2 or 3 months out of the year. I know this is true because strawberries come into season in like June and apples are done in October. This is the time that you're meant to eat fruit. The rest of the time you're eating vegetation and meat because that is, climate-wise, what is the most readily available thing to you. Your body's not meant to process all this sugar, and we eat sugar in the form of the actual white shit that we put in stuff. We eat a lot of fruit that we're not supposed to eat as often as we do. All the grains that we eat, the wheat, and especially the white bread and the Little Debbie snacks are like the freaking devil. And these people pack their kids' lunch for school and it's got a fruit roll-up and chewy fruit snacks. There's no fruit in that snack. You want to do your kid a favor? Pack your kid an apple. Don't pack him bear-shaped gummy shit snacks that are just chewy sugar. You're literally rotting your child from the inside out, and you're creating bad habits for this kid. You're creating an addiction. You wouldn't sit your kid down and give him a line of Coke. Here's a dollar bill, son, roll it up. You would never do that. But sugar lights up the same parts of the brain as cocaine does. It creates the same addiction. That's why they put sugar in everything, because we form these addictions and we can't get away from it. You can't go into a grocery store and find anything without high fructose corn syrup in it. My alarm's going off. Hang on. My phone says it's time to close the chicken coop. So yeah, I think sugar in our society goes a long way to ruining our health. And it creates this high blood pressure, and it creates this cholesterol issue. Because, I mean, most people don't know what cholesterol is. Cholesterol is created naturally by your body. When you cut your finger, cut the end of your finger and it starts bleeding and it's dripping. The reason it closes up and stops bleeding is because you have cholesterol in your body. The cholesterol is what stops it from bleeding and keeps you from bleeding to death. That's why your arteries get clogged with cholesterol. They make it sound like you're eating too much meat and you're clogging up cholesterol inside of you, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is you're tearing your arteries and you're bleeding. And your body is sending cholesterol to stop that blood because it doesn't want you to bleed out. You're going to bleed to death. And this cholesterol clogs up this bleeding area and you continue tearing your arteries with all of this sugar and this table salt. Table salt is the devil too. It's practically glass. It acts like glass inside of your system, and it tears your arteries up. So you got all this sugar and all this salt, and it's tearing your guts apart, and your cholesterol is rushing and trying to keep you from bleeding out. And when it closes up your artery, it's because it's continually trying to stop you from bleeding. And when you remove the things that are cutting your arteries up, it doesn't build up in your system anymore. It doesn't build up naturally in your system unless you're bleeding. That it builds up there to stop the bleeding. That's the biological process. So if you have cholesterol buildup in your arteries, you don't need to focus on the cholesterol that's building up. You need to focus on why you're shredding your arteries to such a degree that the cholesterol is building up to keep you from bleeding to death. There is a much bigger issue here, and it's not the meat that you're eating. In my humble, uneducated opinion, big fat fucking opinion here. I am not a doctor. Feel free to completely disregard me, ignore everything I say, and absolutely do your own research, because I have got my head up my ass as far as most people are concerned. So do not listen to me. Not a medical professional. Just saying. Sarah says, we've been made to think fat is bad, but sugar is more of a problem. It really is. Chris says, sugar is okay to a point as long as you move enough. The problem I have with that perspective is, okay, it's fluid, because I don't believe that history is what we've been taught. So I'm only going on my own logic and idea of what history could be. Go 200 years ago, we weren't processing sugar. You didn't go to your local store and buy processed sugar. If you had sugar, it was rare. It was special. Sweet things were reserved for the royals, because sugar was expensive. If you had sweetened things, it was because you found a beehive nearby and you were eating honey. And that's so much different than eating a processed product, because honey is so antibacterial and antiviral and antifungal, and it's so good for your system. So it's not treated the same as sugar, even though it sweetens in the same way. But my point is, you go back in time and we weren't always processing sugar this way. We were using things like carrots. And cook down the carrots and take the natural sugar out of a carrot and sweeten something with it, or make carrot cake, or a beet. Beets are particularly sweet, and fruits and things like that. And we were breaking down these naturally occurring things, where now it's, go pick a stalk of sugar cane and bake me a fucking cake. You're not going to be able to do it. It has to be, processed in a certain way and dried and emaciated. And, it goes through this whole thing to make it sweet, where if you pick a piece of sugar cane and chew on it, it's like chewing on a sweet piece of straw. But you're not going to bake a cake with it, where you might with honey or something like that. But that's my point, is that you're dealing with something that reacts totally different in your body. It actually reacts in a positive way. But it seems like these things that we use to sweeten, the more we process them, the more poison it is to our body. And I think it's because our body is like a processing system in itself. And if you add something to it, you need to do the processing. If you have to process it before you add it, I think that the body doesn't recognize it. It's not processing. Now it's just being poisoned. Again, big fat uneducated opinion, but just my thoughts on it. I mean, I've removed sugar from my life to such a degree that I get roped into sugar. I'll get a craving for something, and instead of eating something that I should eat, I'll eat something I shouldn't. And then all of a sudden I'm binging. Like, I can see how it lights up your brain like cocaine, because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I need 10 uh, ice cream Snickers bars or my head's going to explode, you know? And all of a sudden I want all this sugar and I want all this shit. And it's this super hyper processed crap where when the original craving hit me, if I'd have eaten a spoon of honey, it probably would have satisfied my craving completely and kept me from going off in the way that I did, because I really think it affects your brain differently. My big fat opinion. Clarissa says, my daughter says no to most of the nutritional needs, no potatoes, bread, grain, sugars, and intakes of low fruit. It's just not a healthy diet to avoid these. See, I don't agree. I don't agree with you. I agree with your daughter. I don't eat a lot of those things. I try to avoid bread. I find that bread makes me inflamed. I will feel completely normal and I'll eat a piece of toast and all of a sudden I'm bloated. The middle of me is bloated and I know that my body is inflamed. I do like potatoes and I eat them sparingly, but if I have a choice between a potato and a sweet potato, I take the sweet potato because A, it's sweeter, it has more fiber, it has more flavor. It's not such a pasty flavor, it actually has taste. Fruit, I don't eat a lot of fruit. I eat a banana every day. I have a smoothie that I put a banana in, but I'm not big on fruit. But I'll eat a big salad and I made fajitas for dinner, and mine was peppers and onions and zucchini. I skipped the chicken. They eat the chicken. I kind of skipped the chicken. I wasn't up for the chicken, but I had veggie fajitas and it was good. But I really don't think that we're supposed to eat that much fruit. I have apple trees, and when my apple trees are in bloom, when the apples are ripe, that's when I tend to eat apples. But to buy them off season in the grocery store, I try not to do that. I feel like it's too much sugar. I feel like I'm not supposed to eat that much sugar. And I really, when I eat sugar, it kind of does the same thing that wheat does to me. It kind of makes me feel bloated and inflamed. It's like, it's too much sugar for me. I'm all about the veggies. And I like some grains. I like rice. I ate a lot of rice. Uh, Quinoa is good, but I like beans. I like legumes and beans and things like that. But I do try to avoid grains, even whole grains. These are highly processed foods. And it just seems like for me, inside of my own body, it seems like the more highly processed whatever I'm eating is, the more it seems to affect me in a negative way. I feel bloated. I feel inflamed. I feel my joints will feel stiff. I think that there really is something to the gluten intolerance that half of the world seems to have. I don't think that we're supposed to eat that. It, you know, I've been kind of inching away from gluten, from wheat and things of that nature. And one of the things that really sealed the deal for me and made me really start to back away was I have this desk that I want to refinish in paper mache. I want to take newspaper, black and white newspaper, and refinish this whole desk in paper mache newspaper. I think it'll be really cool. And in looking up paper mache, it's just flour and water. You take newspaper and you mix your flour and water and you dip your newspaper in it and you put it on whatever and you squeegee the excess off and it turns to basically stone. And we're eating it. We're taking this flour and water that turns to stone. It creates a piñata. It creates this rock hard, nasty, crunchy, really hard shell that you have to really beat the shit out to break it. And we're eating it. I have a friend on Facebook that tagged me in this this health intestinal detox thing where they were talking about having all kinds of plaque and shit built up in your intestines. Before that, I might have thought that that was a little far-fetched, but after the actual realization that bread is paper mache, of course we have buildup in our freaking intestines. I mean, it's like your gut is a piñata. When's the last time you ate bread? I bet it was in the last 24 hours, or some kind of wheat product, and it's pushed on us. But it's this product that has to be really super highly processed in order for us to even do anything with it. If you pick a stalk of wheat, you ain't doing shit with that. You're not eating it. It's like nuts and berries practically. I mean, it's not a usable product, but then you process it and process it and process it and add water and it turns to rock. So eat it. So yeah, I'm really thinking about getting away from the gluten thing, which is really sucky for me. I mean, I love bread. I love making my own bread. I like making my own pizza crust and stuff like that, but I'm more and more drawn away from it because I feel like it's a bad idea. I feel like I'm trying to stay away from foods that have commercials. If it has a commercial, I feel like I shouldn't be eating it. If you have to promote it, if you have to give it a spokesperson and bright flashing colors to attract me, there's probably a reason you have to employ this stuff to attract me. So I'm really trying to stay away from stuff like that. Even though TV tells me to love it, TV tells me to want it. Every commercial, oh my God, the commercials on TV. Every nasty ass piece of poison that you could possibly die from has a commercial on TV, right down to all the pharmaceuticals now. What the hell is that? Side effects may include. You ever listen to that list? Holy shit. Like, wow, I'm not pissing my pants anymore. However, I've gone deaf, blind, my face is broke out, I have constant diarrhea, heart palpitations, high blood pressure, my kidneys have shut down, my liver's shut down, and I'm losing my mind. But I don't pee my pants anymore. Like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Oh, anyway, let's see. Sandra loves toast. I love toast too, especially with over easy eggs. Oh my God. Yum. I love having chickens. You know what? Speaking of loving having chickens, I tried 3 different times today, just today, to make you guys a video to show you the baby chicks in the basement and the coop outside that he's starting. And the whole damn universe is conspiring against me. I just couldn't do it. And after my hangout last week, when y'all were asking about it, I wanted to make a video for you then. And that was when I put my back out. I was like moving really slow all week. Oh, what the hell was up with my back? It's really pissing me off though. And it's ironically right on the tail of me acknowledging how weak my core is. And I have been making a personal development note to start building my core muscles. Like, I want to start doing a plank every day. For a while there, like a year ago, I called it a plank a day. And I would get into a plank position and hold it as long as I could. and I was actually timing it with my cell phone. And then the next day I would hold it longer than the day before. And I had added like 40 seconds onto my plank. I was over a minute, which for some of you may not sound like that much, but I'm telling you what, put your elbows on the floor, get into a plank and hold it for more than 30 seconds. It is not as easy as it sounds. Like I'm all shaking. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. But I'm like, it your core holds your spine. And I have sciatic issues because of a sledding accident I got in when I was a kid. Was impaled on a fence post. Got a scar on the right side, top of my hip, and it's right over my sciatic. Like when the hole was open, they were pointing at it, saying to my parents, "There's her sciatic nerve right there." So I've made it this far into my life. I've only started having trouble with my sciatic nerve in the last year. So I figure I made it 30 years without trouble. If I build some core strength and really start focusing on building core strength, I should make it through some more comfortable years. My grandmother, one of her favorite things to say is, well, we're all going to die sometime. And it's like, well, yeah, but I'd rather not die completely crippled, bent over, unable to fucking move or live a normal life, and on a million medications. Like if I can make it, the further I can make it through my life, living normally, feeling at ease and not in pain, like why wouldn't you want that for yourself? Oh, we're all going to die sometime. Might as well feel like shit until then, right? I swear to God, so many people, it's like they completely give up on life. But again, I think it's a TV construct. We're kind of taught that, middle age is 40. I'm almost middle age. I have another year. 40 is considered middle age, between 40 and 50. So they're already programming you to understand that you're probably not going to live past 80 years old. And I am all about what's in your head. You create your life with your thoughts. If you're walking through your life accepting defeat and expecting to go downhill, what the hell do you think is going to happen? I mean, not that, me just resisting it is going to save me from it, but I don't think accepting it and just relaxing into it is going to be of benefit either, Rub your skin with DMSO. You'll be able to do more. What is that? DMSO. I've never heard of that. I'm out of things to say until she says something, and we're on a 10-second delay, so give her a minute. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna shut this down. Oh, when you look at ages people live to in the Bible, 40 is like a baby. That is very, very, very true, because I mean, Abraham lived to be what, 900 and something, or was it 600 and something, and Adam lived to be 900 and something. However, if you want to have a biblical discussion, that's an entirely different hangout and an entirely different set of opinions that you will get out of me, because I am overfilling my cup. I don't think that the Bible is literal, and I don't think those people actually lived that long. The Bible is full of numerology and astrology and symbology, and all the numbers that are presented to you in the Bible are significant numbers. So that's an entirely different topic that you can hate me for later. Because I find that people either completely agree with me or they think that I am just a heathen pagan who's completely lost for all of eternity. So I confess I know little of the Bible, but when I saw that, it made me wonder. Well, that's good. You won't hate me for it then, because you don't already have all that much opinion about it. That's cool. But yeah, it is true. In the Bible, they supposedly lived a lot longer. And, you know, my good buddy, Jay Dreamers, who was in here at the beginning of this whole thing, he is all about the giants and mythologies of old, and we don't really agree on that kind of stuff. And it even says in the Bible that there were giants. And something that was brought to my attention recently that, God, I was like, wow, why did I never think of that before? My friend Marty was like, well, if there was giants, where's all the giant stuff? There's supposedly giant skeletons that, I admittedly have never seen myself, but supposedly they're found. And where's all the giant stuff? No one finds giant clothes, giant shoes, giant tools, giant utensils, giant homes. There's no giant anything except for supposedly found bones. And I was like, you know what? That's true. Because I was all about the giants before that. So I'm not anymore. And it's another thing that kind of adds to the discrediting of the literal nature of the Bible. I don't think that the Bible is a literal book. Actually, I'm getting a lot out of Marty Leeds lately. Marty Leeds, Leeds. He's all about the numbers in the Bible and about finding pi. Pi is encoded in tons of stuff in the Bible, and it's really interesting. And it's interesting to the point that it's beyond coincidence. Like, okay, that's a coincidence, but when you add this, that, and that, you're kind of playing it fast and loose with the word coincidence then. So, I don't know, but yeah, Bible, not literal. People didn't really live that long. But like I said earlier, on average, you go to other countries, underdeveloped countries where, they're not shopping in supermarkets for everything. They're eating what's coming out of the sea and what's coming off the trees. They're eating these natural diets that are normal to their area. They're local. These people are living to 120 years old. And it's not even that unusual. It's like, yeah, my grandma's 120. Big fucking deal. And in these areas, you've got families that have 6 or 7 generations alive at a time. And that's not unusual. Where in America, we have 3 to 4 generations tops. And it's because we're killing ourselves. Our infants are dying of cancer. We have like children. I have people in my in-laws, my husband's family. There was one of his great nieces went in for emergency surgery on Christmas Eve to remove a brain tumor. She was 2. Then this is normal now. Like, if they actually, above board found the cure for cancer, they wouldn't be able to do anything with it because of all the people that would lose all of their income. Every oncologist in the world would lose their income if there was a cure for cancer. And now we have these specialized oncologists, like you have a pediatric oncologist that deals with only little children with cancer. And then you have a specialist for each kind of fucking cancer that you can get. You're talking about tens of millions of people that would be unemployed if there was a cure for cancer. They're never going to cure cancer. They're never going to find the cure because it's not lucrative to do so. It would actually destroy the economy. A cure for cancer would destroy the United States economy. That's a fact. Send me more info. Do send me more info, Stacy's Realm. Conspiracymystic@gmail.com. Anybody ever wants to send me anything about anything, email me. I'm wide open. I'm just a normal girl learning stuff with all of you people. Anything you can teach me, I'll appreciate it. Even if I already knew, even if I disregard it, don't ever hesitate. Anything you want to share with me, absolutely email me. I appreciate it. Absolutely. The patents owned by the US, that would put pharma out of business. It would. It would absolutely, it would put so many things out of business. Just the American Cancer Society and the Susan G. Komen Society alone. Those two nonprofits alone would unemploy a couple million people. Plus all of your scientists that are actually, I mean, there are actually people researching, looking for a cure. I know people who are working in that field of medicine, but they're trying to find out which synthetic chemical will kill the cancer faster than it kills the host. That's like their big scientific discovery. They don't want to look into what's causing the cancer or stop where it's coming from. They don't even want to look at that. They don't want to tell you sitting in front of your computer 20 hours a day and all that radiation is giving you a fucking brain tumor. They don't want to tell you don't put your cell phone up against your head for an hour a day because it's going to give you a brain tumor. They don't want to tell you that because the same companies that are paying for this fucking research are the same companies that are developing the shit that is causing your cancer in the first place. That's how they're controlling the fact that there is no cure. They're the same ones that are causing the problem in the first place. There's never going to be a cure, ever. Never, ever, ever is there going to be a cure for cancer. Not above board. And you know what? I honestly think that the celebrities that are dying of cancer are doing so specifically to further that agenda. My husband really loved the husband and wife country duo, Joey and Rory. And I forget which one was the man and which one was the woman. I think the guy was Joey and Rory was the woman, but she died of cancer. And they publicized every minute of it. I followed him on Facebook. There's pictures of her going bald and getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier until she looks like a popsicle head on top of a fucking stick neck. And I mean, you watched her get sick and die. You watched her die. And I'm sitting here, I would rant about it. I would get mad. And I'm like, for real, they know cannabis oil cures cancer. They know that B12 or B17, that's it, in apricots, that kills cancer. Like, we have all these cures. We know that these things work. We know these things cure cancer. They kill tumors. Why would you just let your wife fucking die? Why would you just watch her fucking die in the age of information when there's so much information out there? Why would you just watch your wife die? And it only makes sense that A, they're not real fucking people. They're not real people. And B, that was a show to further your knowledge about what cancer does and what can and can't be done. I mean, you figure these are elite people. These are stars. These are celebrities. If they were able to fix it, they would. If anybody was able to cure cancer, it would be them. They would have the money and the resources and everything. And we watched her die. You were meant to watch her die. That was meant to program you to know that you can't deal with this. They can't even deal with this. And right before she died, they adopted this little girl that has Down syndrome. So that leaves this fucking overalls wearing redneck hick with this 2-year-old Down syndrome daughter and a dead wife. And we're all, oh, poor him. But you know what? When his music career starts back up, I'm sure he'll do just fine. It's not even real. It's not even real. It's all there for your viewing pleasure, for your viewing programming, to tell you how to think and feel about everything. It's fucking disgusting. Check out baking soda orally ridding cancer cells. I know someone trying. You know what, Stacy? Joey Rocha. This is a good one. Go to my friend's YouTube channel, Mama Lula. Mama, M-A-M-A, Lula, L-O-U-L-A, Lula. She did an interview show with this guy named Joey Rocha, R-O-C-H-E or R-O-C-H-A, I forget. But supposedly, this guy had pancreatic cancer. And I mean, anybody that knows anything about cancer knows you get pancreatic cancer, you're dead. By the time they're like, oh, your pancreas, before the rest of the sentence is out, you're dead. Because that's the one that, boom, kills you, you're done. And he cured his cancer using baking soda and molasses cookies, where you apparently mix baking soda and molasses together and you spoon it out in cookie-sized pieces and freeze it. And then you fast and then you eat it. And the cancer cells rush to feed on the molasses, but then they get a hold of the baking soda and it kills them. Which is the same concept used with the turpentine. You put it in sugar and all of the yeast and shit in your body rushes to get the sugar. And as they're consuming the sugar, they're like, this is good. This is good. Oh shit, there's turpentine in this. And it's too late. And it was the same concept, but that is the most compelling testimony I've ever heard about baking soda and cancer. And I've actually gone back and downloaded that episode from her channel, because anybody I hear about who has anything to do with cancer from now on, I'm going to send them this video and have them listen to this guy talk about this. And he gives the name of the doctor that he was working with that introduced him to this therapy. And you can look up the doctor and his therapy from there. And I mean, there's a lot of information to be had. So definitely go look that up. I am gonna make a note here and make sure that that goes down in the description of this. That is interesting stuff. There is a lot of interesting stuff about baking soda curing cancer and killing their I've been reading stuff lately about cancer actually being a fungus. And that's why baking soda has such an effect on it, because baking soda kills fungus. And one of my very close personal friends has been talking recently about black goo. And she is down in Australia and can get stuff that I can't get. She sent me a video and I can't watch it because it's blocked in my country, which makes me extra curious about what it's about. But it's about black goo. And she says that in this video, they're talking about black goo being basically a dark fungus that is infecting people, and it controls your mind. It's like a zombie virus. And people who have a more natural way of being and don't take pharmaceuticals and are using their food as their medicine have a less occurrence of having an infestation of this fungus in their body. And I'm actually to the point where I'm wondering if this freaking fungus, this dark fungus, is partially to do with cancer and part of the darkness that we hear about in religion that kills. I mean, I don't know. I know that sounds kind of crazy for somebody that hasn't been talking with me about it for the last week, like I've been talking with her. But it's like, there's some really creepy shit about this reality, about our very own bodies that we're told, and it's wrong. We don't even know the very own skin that we live in. We don't understand it, and we don't know anything about it because we're lied to about it. So, Mama Lula, you love her. Excellent. Even if we eat right, grow our own food, planes are spraying our air with shit and water being fed fluoride to be mind controlled. We are. I mean, I think we're susceptible to it at different levels based on how pure we are, how non-toxic we are, because I really feel less affected by it than other people seem to be. And I think it's because I've detoxed my life to such a degree that it just doesn't affect me as much. And I might be completely full of it. I don't know. Maybe other people are just more vocal about the effects that they're having. But I think that there really is something to detoxifying yourself and your life as much as you can, and having that control over the influences that are coming in. Good night, Sarah. Thanks for coming and visiting. 1:30 a.m. there. Holy crap. You must be over in the UK. And ironically, one big pond is underneath you. Hard to find aluminum-free baking soda. Make sure it is. That is the truth. Bob's. I think most people know what that is, though. Bob's. Bob's baking soda is aluminum-free, and it says aluminum-free on it. I can't remember the full name of it, but Bob has a lot of health conscientious, whole grain, non-chemical laden things. So yeah, do, because you know what? Baking soda doesn't say aluminum on it. Doesn't say it. It says it on baking powder, but not baking soda. But baking soda absolutely has aluminum in it. And I have recently bought non-aluminum, and I put it in a little jar, and I write no aluminum baking soda on it, because I use regular baking soda for cleaning through the house and what have you. But definitely, definitely look for for aluminum in things. They hide it everywhere. Any word in any ingredient list that even resembles the word aluminum is aluminum. Don't eat it. Don't buy it. If it even has some of the same, it kind of looks like a form of that word. It's the same. Don't buy it. Period. Always on the safe side. Don't buy it. You want to chat with me? Stacy? You want to chat with me? Hit me up. I'll chat with anybody. I like chatting. I like having discussions, intelligent discussions with people that have things to discuss. I get called stupid enough. People are like, hey, I want to talk to you. And then they're like, you're so retarded, and here's 5 reasons why. Don't be one of those. But you want to have a discussion with me, share knowledge. Oh, I'm so down for that. I love learning new things. I love being around other people. And so many people bring so many interesting things to the table, things that you don't realize are local. Like, you don't think about how much you know because of your locality, but then you meet somebody from a different locality and you find that they know things that you don't, that are very specifically related to locality. So, I mean, I don't know. I look at everybody like they have something to teach me, because I learn so much from even people that aren't trying to teach me things, just observing. Because I don't know, if a day goes by and you don't learn something, your day was wasted. You could have learned something. You could have figured something out. You could have added to your knowledge. You could have bettered yourself. You could have made yourself stronger or healthier, or, learn something. Seek to learn something every day. It's probably the best thing that you can do for yourself. Shungite is awesome. Awesome. I like shungite. I got shungite stones in all of our water pitchers in the fridge, and I keep one in my water glass that I drink out of all day with my warm lemon water. I mean, I have no testimonial. I have no proof that it's doing anything, except for that I feel like it is. I don't know, more on that later. I mean, as time goes by and we adjust, I don't know. I'll see. But our EMF meter will be coming in the mail like any day now, and I'm really want to go through the house and test how much the shungite actually blocks radiation, and location wise, where to place it for best results and all of that. I'm really looking forward to that. As soon as I get something together on that, as soon as I know anything about all that, I will definitely let you guys know. I'll have a video or something going up, I'm sure. Shungite is awesome. Thoughts on dimensions? You know what? You want to know my thoughts on dimensions? Currently, look up Martin Kenny, Cosmic Egg. Currently, that's pretty much how I think the universe is put together. That's where I think other dimensions are. Although I will say that I feel like there is some kind of overlay here with us. I believe in ghosts. I've seen ghosts. I know they're there. I know that there are entities there that aren't physically here, but they're there. And so I kind of wonder if there's some kind of overlay that happens, like one realm on top of another. But if you look into Martin Kenny and his cosmic egg theory, that's pretty much the conclusion that I've come to, that is the actual shape of our universe and what is going on with it. And he bases his theory off of ancient civilizations concepts of the universe and the world, and he kind of combines them and creates this actual physical model. He actually builds a physical model of this thing. It's really interesting. It's really interesting, and it lights up my heart. And when things tend to be true, my intuition lights up right here. I feel it in my chest. And my intuition tells me he's on to something. So those are my basic thoughts on interdimensional things. I believe the elite are going to Mars. It's just that Mars isn't what we think it is. It's just the next ring out, where Mars is the sun. You gotta watch the video, or that makes no sense. But I find it really interesting. So, well, Sarah's got a link there, and I just tried to click it. My mouse still doesn't work. Oy. All right, I gotta shut her down, people. I am dying to go to the bathroom. All my beer is trying to get out right now. And I've been talking for, oh my gosh, almost 3 hours with no mouse. For all I know, I have 10 emails of people that were like, hey, we want to come talk with you. And I'm like, screw you all. I'm going to do it all myself. That sucks. I'm going to duck down and see if I can make this shit do something. So talk amongst yourselves. It won't work. I don't know how to shut it off. Bye, everybody. I mean, eventually I'll get there, I suppose. Like, for real. Ooh! Stop broadcast is highlighted. Okay. I'm going to leave because I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit enter and it's going to shut it down. So, thanks for hanging in and, bullshitting for an hour about nothing off topic. But hey, it was cool and it was fun. And you guys are awesome. I love you and shit. So, I don't know. I'll see you next week with a working mouse, I hope, okay? Let's see, okay? Stop broadcast. Stopping.